going on, everyone? Happy Monday. Honestly, the days have been confused with me. Why? We got in Sunday. It felt like it was a Friday.
Yeah.
And now it's the beginning of the week, but really what it means, it's the beginning of the winter meetings here. Guys, welcome to the Ryan Ripken Show, live from Dallas, where the MLB winter meetings are being held currently at this moment. So you guys see the background here. This is one part of where the winter meetings are. It stretches all throughout the hotel, even going to the other side. And Brad, it's been a whirlwind to even try to set this up, get situated, but it's been a fun process. How are we doing so far?
We're doing good. The camera setup's all kind of weird because we are going to be having some guests coming on. I'm going to have to readjust the camera very quickly. So you're just going to have to see my profile for the most part during this show.
Oh yeah.
But bro, I'm super excited. The atmosphere is incredible. You know, last night was a bit low key until you started to see everybody roll in. Some of the people that we've gotten to meet already has been awesome. And I'm super pumped for some of the guests that we know we're already going to be having on. And maybe, who knows? It's the winter meetings. You never know who's going to run up to us and ask to come on or just want to chat with us. And that's kind of how it's been with the theme of things for this entire stay so far.
Yeah, and just so you guys know, there's going to be times where I'm going to be looking at my computer and I'm sending back an email because you get a message being like, hey, we're thinking about stopping over. Are you available? Right.
Yeah,
so that's the nature of how this is. And there's going to be times too. And by the way, Zach Bollinger's chilling in the back. We'll bring him on here in a second. There's Zach. Hi, Zach.
How's it going, guys? How's Dallas?
Dude, Dallas is buzzing. And I'll tell you what, it really started to pick up when Juan Soto signed last night. You could see the energy start to come in, but also you have every affiliate that's here. You have people looking for jobs throughout baseball, through the minor leagues, all the way up. You have companies that are trying to sell their products here at the winter meetings. Oh, and then by the way, you're having coaches now giving access to the media here this afternoon. You're having possible deals go down. So we're hoping it's going to be a busy time. But above all, Zach, honestly, great experience just to see what's happening here. And so, Zach, at times you might have to run part of the show as we continue on here. And that's just the way the cookie's going to crumble. But
yeah, we're going to have to there's a lot of flying by the seat of our pants with this very unstructured show today. It's going to be very much of a, oh, hey, come on over and chat with us. And then we'll go from there.
Yeah, absolutely. That's what I think makes this great. You are going to see everything's going to be raw. How it's happening live. There's going to be no, big cuts, anything, people walking up. This is as behind the scenes as it gets at the winter meetings. So stick around here for the entire time because as I just tweeted out and like Brad said, you just literally never know who's going to be walking up.
You really don't.
Hop on.
So, Zach, it was funny that you mentioned that. So last night we were just kind of messing around, testing the connection and that sort of thing. Then all of a sudden Jim Thome comes up and recognizes Rip. And then obviously, was super happy, super excited to see him. And as Jim Thome's walking away, I just had Mr. Incredible vibes.
Oh yeah,
he just looks just like him.
And when they make the real life version of the animated movie, Jim Thome will be casted as Mr. Incredible.
Yes.
Like size, stature,
just
except
the haircut.
The only
like
difference is that unlike Mr. Incredible, Jim Thome is this just jolly, personable, great guy to talk to.
Oh, so nice.
So it's been great. It really has. And excuse me. And seeing where a couple things, just a little housekeeping notes here. Chad, how you can join the Holy Shirts and Pants, which we'll give our Holy Shirts and Pants members more of our insight as the day goes on. But there's a join button next to subscribe. You click that. Again, thank you to all of our Holy Shirts and Pants member and all of our channel members. What you guys have helped us do here. This is why we're here in Dallas. This is why we're making connections. So in 2025, we're able to then bring you guys more. One thing, though, we do have lined up. We don't know what time it's happening. And this is why answering the question of how long are we to be live, Steve? Hell, we might be live a majority of the day today. You know, we're going to run 3 to 5, but we might be having people on at 5 and we might be running at 6, at 7, at 9, at 3 in the morning. Just kidding. Unless there's an Orioles move done, we're probably not going to get on at 3 in the morning. So you catch my drift here with what's happening. But Zach, one thing is, like, here's the example. and to explain to everybody out here what's going on, I want to go back to one of my emails I got earlier. I emailed the Rays this morning and said, hey, would love a chance to interview Kevin Cash or anyone in the front office that would be willing to sit down and talk about baseball, right? And maybe you're not going to get anything, or maybe it's going to take a little bit of time. And sorry, I'm trying to pull it up as I'm explaining the story. And all of a sudden, within an hour, Zach, and Brad and I were still leaving the hotel.
Yeah.
And we get a message. Hey, Ryan, great to connect. What? How about now? So Eric Neander, who's the president of baseball operations for the Tampa Bay Rays. He's like, oh yeah, we'll come down right after going on with Sirius XM. Does that work? And we're like, oop. Unfortunately, it didn't, but got a chance to meet him. So later on, whether it's today or tomorrow, he's going to join and talk about the operations with the Rays. We talk about knowing your foe, getting the insights, and also how the winter meetings work. Why not ask a executive about it? And one of the guys that the Orioles are going to be seeing quite a bit, and they are transitioning for the Rays. It's a lot of moving parts because of what happened with their stadium down there. So
yeah. That's going to be a great combo.
Yeah. I'm really, really excited about it. So
Terry Francona is coming.
Terry Francona is in the works. We're not going to guarantee that, but it's in the works here for us. And Stephen Vogt with the Guardians is also in the works here. And hopefully we've seen our Orioles people. We got that. We threw that in there. I feel pretty confident that at some point here we're going to have some Orioles representation. But that's how it works. So, guys, we will talk about, football throughout at times here, but the biggest thing is around the winter meetings. It's around the buzz. Moves are starting to happen here. Zach, Juan Soto, where were you when Juan Soto, the news was broken last night?
I was literally watching Monday Night Football, stressing to see if Will Dissly was going to come in after a random shoulder injury to save my parlays. So I'm just checking my phone, and I literally get the Jeff Passan notification, but it cut off. So I just see breaking: Juan Soto has agreed to a 15-year, $765 million contract with, and it just says the new, and I was like, okay, here it is. And I literally felt like one of those things where I was like holding my phone far away from me, like Yankees or Mets. And I just dropped my phone. As soon as it said Mets, I dropped my phone and thanked the good Lord that I can finally appreciate Juan Soto as a player again without having the caveat of, oh, he's a New York Yankee. I can just enjoy watching the man play baseball for how incredible it is.
A different team, right? And, that was a joyous thing. And first off, to give you our perspective here, Zach, a lot of people were expecting the move to be done earlier. We went live last night to talk about the initial reaction. It was 11:30. We didn't have our setup here.
Yeah.
We're doing it off the laptop. But everyone was waiting throughout the day for this move to get done. And then the hours were going by and it wasn't happening. And we were hearing, 6 o'clock,
tension here.
7 p.m. And people were like, oh, great. We're going to have to go into the next day. And then all of a sudden, later, right before we went to go eat dinner, they're hearing buzz is picking up. Yeah. And through the whole time of it, it became more and more clear. And maybe this is, my own intuition being around here. It just, from the jump for me, there was something off with the Yankees. And I'll get into that point here in a moment to talk about it, because it turned out there was something off.
Yeah.
And it wasn't that there was a big difference in money that didn't have Juan Soto come back, but he goes to the Mets. You guys might have heard the story last night. We're having barbecue, and John Morosi, MLB Network insiders, just sitting there, and we already had a 30-minute conversation with him at the winter meetings, just talking, catching up. And then we're talking about life, and then we're walking back, and all of a sudden, whammy, the news hits. And John almost ran right into a damn pole as it happened. So he's trying to tweet it out. So it was a really, really really cool thing to see what was happening. But let's go into the Soto conversation a little bit deeper, because I know that there's some reports out there about what was happening, what's going on, and Pigtown, how we doing? Like, we're seeing these reports come out here that there was
security guard
tension. So I will say this, when we're talking about the feeling or sensation I was getting here, is, yes, there could have been certain little things that could throw you off with the organization. And if your family's not happy, then you know what? That's going to go into your decision. No doubt about it. But I'm going to take it a little of a step further. And I want to look at the construction of what these rosters are going to be like moving forward. And for the New York Yankees, this is not a young team. So when you're looking at it with Aaron Judge and you're looking at it with some of the other guys and who's coming through the pipeline, they are ready to win right now. It might not be in 6 years. Now for the Mets, they've regrouped. They still got money, but they have an owner that is not afraid of any barrier. And because of that, factored in with what the Mets' future looked like, Soto was banking on that. And to me, that's where it lines up there. Yeah. And Aaron Judge is going to be the captain there in New York. And I'm not saying that's a big reason. Soto, obviously, Brad, like we understand, he's a star in his own right. But I'll tell you what, the star is going to be brightest for Juan playing for the Mets, because even though Lindor is a fantastic player, Soto's presence is going to even be more magnified as being the guy, the one that's going to get them over the hump, because Aaron Judge has been looked at as the savior for the Yankees and this monumental player for them for years. Soto's never going to be able to become that there with the Yankees. He has the chance to do that with the Mets. And now he's out of the AL East. But, guys, what did we talk about in the past couple days about what that would mean? Brad, what does that mean with Juan leaving the Yankees? And now some teams are looking for an outfielder, specifically one.
Tony Taters, probably going to be a Yankee.
Yeah, I think it's
and if he's not a Yankee, so the report right there, John Morosi put out what, Zach? It was about the 4 teams involved.
3 teams that are, I guess, heavily interested in pursuing Tony would be the Yankees, the Red Sox, and the Blue Jays. Blue Jays' name has been seen in a lot of these names. It seems like they're really going for it. I'm not sure. I don't see Tony going there, but I think, we see Anthony Santander either in Boston or playing for the Yankees when it's all said and done.
And here's the reality here. You all right?
Yeah.
What do we got? Fumble?
Yeah.
What do we fumble?
Our internet.
Yeah.
Oh,
that's a brick. What?
Oh, I thought you meant the internet went out. I was like, I can still hear.
No. No. That
phone.
was just Brad's phone. That's like something that's from a different planet. That thing is it's a thing's durable.
It just folds. It's a foldable.
It's a foldable phone that's durable. But let's to go into this conversation, and when we try to give you insight here, I'm doing this not to hurt anyone's feelings. And people say about, I'm not a guy, Zach, I'm not the emotional guy. I don't like to try to make proclamations. I just go off of what I understand. And Soto, there was a good chance he was leaving the Yankees, and there's a very big hole there with the New York Yankees team. But I think he's going to stay in the AL East. I really do, Tony Taters. And the perfect place for him to play is New York for me. And again, earmuffs for everyone. But imagine Tony playing with the short porch in right. Yeah. It's not a big fence in left.
No.
And he's a guy that knows how to play. And then look at the deals that just happened. Soto just signed for, what did you say? It was almost half the price that the Orioles were bought for.
Yeah. So the Orioles were bought for what, $1.7 billion. Soto was paid $765. So
805 if they accept all the options and everything else.
Right. So we're getting close to that, like what 40% of what the Orioles are worth is what Soto got paid. I just I have this question for you, Rip.
Oh, lay it on me.
We know the ownership has deeper pockets than the previous ownership did, and that they're willing to be aggressive and whatnot. Why not spend the money on Tony Taters when you know that he's a home run machine, and did bring value to the organization during his entire time here? Why wouldn't they just go out and spend that kind of money when we know that the Yankees, the Blue Jays, Red Sox are going to spend the money that he's got coming to him? Why wouldn't the Orioles step up and do that?
So it's a great question, because it goes back to this, and this is where everyone wants to understand what's happening with where free agency goes. If you are going to re-sign a player, you try to get ahead of it. And if you're not ahead of it, then players are going to have this thought of, well, what else could be out there? And that's the exact scenario here, Brad, with Tony Taters and Anthony Santander. He loved Baltimore. That's where he really grew as a player, had the numbers, but the time to extend Anthony was before the 2024 season, if you were going to do it. But I get it. You didn't know where it was, and you were off on probably some numbers, and then you play it out. But then you play it out, and Tony has his best offensive numbers from a home run standpoint, and you're looking at what he's done now for 3 consecutive years. So a guy that loves Baltimore, true, he loves it, and he wants to make a deal, but now you're months away from free agency where you know a difference. Now we're looking at Tyler O'Neill getting 68 million. Was it 69 million?
Yeah.
Tony Taters, there's a good chance he could double that, or he's going to get 30 million more. And that is so much of an impact there. That's where it stands. So I think for the Orioles, it just was a year maybe too late to make that. And then you're looking at value. Like Tyler O'Neill's a guy that hit 30 jacks last year. And then you're looking at value. Would you rather spend money on a guy like him? Similar guy. You need a right-handed bat, though, and then save some money to maybe go after some other arms or other positions of need. That's where it is. It's if you don't do it early enough, things like this can happen. And then question 2, Zach, or it's not even a question, but the thought process here is going to be, is Tony going to continue to be that guy for 3 or 4 more years? That's going to be the thing.
Yeah. And like you said, I mean, like you talked about, there is that factor of, okay, yeah, we know what Tony did this past year. We know the moments he showed up in, the statistics he put up this year, and how important he was to Baltimore. And he is rightfully going to get paid for the production that he had. But like you said, is that going to be the production that you get in 4 years from Tony? Because you're going to have to pay him for 4 or 5 years, maybe more, depending on how the market is. And I'm not sure if in 3-4 years, you're sitting there saying Anthony Santander is a guy that you can have as a top 2 bat in your lineup and win. No, and that's not taking anything away from him or how he's progressed. It's just that's what you have to worry about with these baseball contracts, because Tony is going to, like I said, he's going to go try to get his best deal for him. If someone offers him 6-7 years because they think he's worth that, he's going to take that. But you have to, as from the Orioles perspective, they're going, okay, in 5 years, if that's what it takes, do we think we're still getting this same caliber player? Or I've seen some comments talking about you do have, even with O'Neill, maybe it's a 1, 2, 3 year deal depending on when he opts out. But you also have guys kind of lingering in the back, the Bradfields, the Honeycutts, the Beavers. You still have all those young guys coming up where you don't know if you can commit to 5 years of having someone in that position kind of blocking everyone.
Oh, yeah, no doubt about it. And again, if you're new to this channel, hit that like and subscribe button. We're live from the winter meetings here in Dallas for baseball. And here's another part here. You have the ones, Brad, of guys that you possibly can sign ahead of time because maybe they love the place, they want to stay there. And if you give them a really good offer and they get that stability, they'll do it. Or then you're going to have cases like we're talking about with Corbin Burns. Corbin Burns was never going to sign an extension before, just like Juan Soto was never going to sign an extension in New York.
Right.
Why? You can say that they don't have ties to the teams that they're getting trade to, or you can look at who's being the one representing them, and that's Scott Boras. And Scott Boras, it's not that he will not extend players early for players. He will look at that option, but it must be a deal that is so above what the market could possibly be that if it's not that, they're not going to entertain it before then. Right. So like the Soto, no one before this season was giving him 700 million plus. In my prediction, I still thought he was getting a lot of money, but the year he had and what he did for the Yankees, that drove the price up even more. That got him more money, and that is the reality and the circumstance of what we're seeing. Yeah. And Corbin is going to have the same situation.
Here's what I'll say to this too, just about Soto and not expecting. I don't know if anybody would have expected this. If the Yankees and the Mets didn't exist in the MLB, I just don't know if Soto's getting $765 million. I just, to me, based off of his play last season, I don't know how he made the case for himself to be worse than he was the season before. And the only reason I say that is because his defensive play was a bit suspect. And I would say that there's way better right fielders out there, or outfielders in general, than Juan Soto. Obviously, you make the argument for his bat, but there was also some bigger bats out there as well, or bats that were at least competitive with Juan Soto. So for me, like, Steve Cohen has the money, so it's just like, fuck it. Why not just throw whatever he wants at him? But like, from a business standpoint, I just didn't see how he was worth that kind of money, and none of it was deferred, which was crazy to me.
Well, it's also you have an owner that wants to give you the world, and take you to the moon, and that's going to help the price of it. And also, too, it's because of, I truly believe it's because of Soto's pedigree, Brad. And when I'm meaning the pedigree of big moments, man, nothing was bigger than the Game 5 in Cleveland to send the Yankees back to the World Series for the first time in 15 years. A guy with every swing can make a lasting impact, and he makes the lineup better. The Yankees really, they made some different changes, but they added Soto, and even when Judge was going through some things, Soto was the big reason why that their team never fully fell off and faltered. So it's that impact. It's the Soto impact. And you're buying. I'm buying, Brad. I'll say this, dude. I've been around the guy. I've seen the guy who's a teammate. I think he's going to hit for as long as he can play, like physically play. His other skills might drop, but him being a 30, 40 home run guy for the rest of his career, I think is going to happen. I think for the next 10 years, I think he's going to easily continue to do that. The only thing that's going to stop him is if he gets injured.
Yeah,
which we're going to find out here. So it should be very interesting to see.
Yeah, the contract goes to what? Until he's 42, I think.
Yeah, it must be nice, you know.
Yeah.
You can buy a few things with that.
$6,000 an hour until you're 42.
You could maybe you can relaunch Blockbuster. You know, invest and make something into something else again. I don't know, something like that. But if you're new to the channel, hit that like and subscribe button. Ryan Ripken Show. We do this every Monday, Thursday, and really whenever we're able to go live. And in this case, we might be live quite often. You're still good with service, right? Like mine's, it's not okay.
Yeah,
mine's just I'm trying to watch the feed off mine, and
it's that janky iPhone. That's why.
Yeah, well, I'm also using my hotspot on mine to watch it, so I can look at my emails here in case we have other guests that are possibly trying to join us, and I can't miss that. So appreciate you guys. So some other things then. So that news happened. Michael Conforto, right? That was being described, Zach, 1 year, $17 million for the Dodgers.
Yeah.
Correct? So there's I like that move.
Very much got swept under the rug because obviously the Soto announcement a few hours after, but that's another move where the Dodgers, they just seem to be making these moves that once again set them up. We always talk about that 1 through 3, the Hall of Famers, go Mookie Betts, Freddie Freeman, Shohei Ohtani, how unstoppable that is. But part of the reason that the Dodgers won the World Series was because of the role players, the Teoscar Hernandez, the Will Smiths, the Max Muncies, these guys that went out there and didn't always put up the star numbers, but the Dodgers have incredible depth. They always had guys that seemed to come through in the big moments. So just a very solid addition for the Dodgers.
Oh, for sure. Like the Dodgers just under the rug here. Not only did they get Michael Conforto, they re-signed Blake Trinan, which if you guys don't know who that is, he is one of the best high-end relievers out there. He has a split sinker that just makes you want to vomit. I got to see that guy when the Nationals had him, and I was down in instructional league. So that's where for the minor league players, you're down there after your season ends and you work on whatever it is without worrying about having to play during the regular season. It's instruction. And Blake Trinan was getting ready to, I think he was nursing a injury, so he's getting back up and getting ready to go back to the bigs. But I didn't really know much about him. And dude, Zach, I saw a pitch. I took, I think, every pitch he walked me, thank goodness. But I truly went, what the hell was that? because the ball had so much movement, and now you're seeing he's had different stops throughout his major league career. Truly, though, I think that signing for them was so crucial, and it just adds to a team that's already very talented. And I think, again, we're looking at fit. Blake was already with the Dodgers. He understands it. He's comfortable. So people saying, well, why don't the Orioles go out and get some people? Players want to be where they want to be. I want to reiterate that. Players want to be where they want to be, and they either value a lot of money or they value the location or they value both. So keep that in mind here as we look at opportunities. And again, new to that channel, hit that like and subscribe button. Hope you guys are doing well. We're live from Dallas winter meetings. And typically, guys, we'd have our regular rundown of football conversations. And maybe this is the perfect time that this was happening. The Ravens were on bye. The NFL, there was nothing like, crazy except, the Chiefs went on a doink, right?
Oh, my God.
Which it continues on. But really, it's like baseball is starting to pick up news again.
Yeah.
And perfect. Absolutely perfect here. And what our goal is here today, and if you want some questions, obviously, as we go on, we want to answer your questions. We want to talk about what we're hearing. Yeah. It's really also getting the perspective of some other organizations, how they go about it. That's why we're hoping to get Terry Francona, talk about a guy. He's not just a manager of the game of baseball. He's a manager of people. Yeah. Manager of people. And that is something that separates him in so many different ways here. And the stove, guys, is slowly starting to heat up little by little here. Well, yeah, the burners were revving last night. Now it's brought back down. But I'll tell you, the traction in here, there's a lot of food on the stove.
I actually just saw the Yes Network is right across from us over here.
Uh-huh.
They just turned their lights back on. So I don't know if that means anything, but
the lights are on here at the Yes Network. We're down from the A's Cast, Sirius XM, and all of this. And I guess one of the rumors here that's flying around here is the Adley rumor legit? So a rumor that popped up here was saying, the Orioles were looking at a 10-year extension for Adley Rutschman. Let's talk about this, okay? Because I know that's on the thoughts here of what can be happening here. And overall, they found each other too.
Hey, Mike.
They're in a good conversation.
They are.
People helping people.
We put somebody in touch with Mark Antonini, who was also here today. And we just saw him walking together. So.
He was. They're walking and talking, and that's how this goes. The
people
Adley,
helping people.
People helping people. Sorry, just getting a message real quickly. I'll finish my thought in one moment.
Oh.
What we got?
I'm just
waiting for me.
Yeah.
Trying to see.
But so just to continue that conversation. So there is speculation that Adley Rutschman, there's a 10-year deal in the works potentially. I'm not going to speculate as to whether or not is that if that's true. But do you think that the O's are going to move forward with it? I think that would be one of the longest contracts in franchise history, wouldn't it?
It would. Whatever extension that they decide to do will be one of the groundbreaking ones.
Yeah,
right. Because
it would be the highest paid catcher in all of baseball.
That's what the rumor is suggesting. But now let's go to that's the offseason. We're allowed to talk about it. Let's stove it up here. There has been. I can't give you that context, but details of conversations beginning with Adley, that those conversations did begin in before the season, during the 2024 campaign, how much it was talked about during the season.
Yeah.
I can't comment or confirm, but the plan is to get it done, get something done with Adley. But here's the big thing for Adley. And the reason why I'm not going to say a 10-year deal, I think that's aggressive.
Yeah.
5.
Yeah, because
that's what I was going to say.
The value for Adley, and I love Adley, is a hitting catcher.
Right.
How long is Adley going to be behind the dish? Is it 3 years? Is it 5 years? Definitely not going to be 10. And if you're seeing what's happening in the track record of how many games he's already had to sit so far, and you're trying to manage his reps, it's hard for me to anticipate that he's going to be able to give you all of that for the X amount of years. So keep that in mind.
I would also like to add, like with the Sam Basayo conversations, and we've talked about this before, Who was it that told us that they felt like Sam Basayo had a better arm than Adley?
Steve Molesky.
That's what it was. Yeah, Steve Molesky had come on this show and talked about how he felt as if Sam Basayo has that better arm. And you make the argument that maybe Sam's about 2 years from being a big leaguer. I would guess.
I wouldn't be surprised if we see Sam at some point this year. Maybe at the end of the year.
Yeah,
I think you got Gary Sanchez, who's going to be on a 1-year deal. And then they're hoping that Sam becomes that guy next year, but I would not be surprised.
Right.
Not be surprised at the end of this year.
So my point is that if you have a guy like Sam Basayo that's going to be coming up and he's going to has the makings of being a superstar, would it even make sense to sign Adley Rutschman to a long-term deal like that? And to me, I would say no. I'm kind of in Zach's corner of some sort of like 5-year deal making the most sense.
I think 3 to 5 is a realistic, but as a player, you always want that extra year, because it just gives you a little bit more stability. It gives you more comfortability of where it is. People want that extra year. You look at last year with Blake Snell. Blake Snell wanted an extra year from Scott Boras. That's what they were working on. They couldn't come to an agreement, right? So there's one example there. Now we're going to have to see what's going to happen here with Adley, but I'll tell you what here, and this is going back to, John, appreciate the question. Are the Yankees going to sign anyone at the winter meetings? Well, I'll tell you what, since all that money they were willing to spend for Soto, I guarantee you they're going to be willing to spend it for a couple different players. And that's where it's going to have to come into. The Yankees don't have a lot of guys that they're going to re-sign from a younger standpoint. Now, the only other one from an earlier extension from one of your stars would be a Gunnar Henderson, but you guys can already stop that thought process right now and realize who the agent is. Scott Boras is a guy. I'll be honest. I bet if Scott Boras was my dad's agent when he was playing, my dad would not have been an Oriole down the rest of his career, right? And
there was a time that he might not have been an Oriole.
Well, that was for a few different reasons, right? But that's the part of it. So Gunnar, it has to be a deal. Like, imagine right now, the deal just got set at $765. The Orioles would have to give Gunnar a deal that's going to be in that ballpark right now. Like, that's how they're going to have to open it up. Be like, hey, we're going to offer a $15,765 million contract because of Gunnar's age and where it is. That's where they're going to ask for. Just giving people context. Like, that's what the asking price is right now. So, yeah, if you're Scott Boras representing, anything less of that type of deal, you're not going to take.
Right.
So you got to keep that in mind, because the value for Gunnar is only going to continue to go up. That's what we think. Unless something drastic happens, we'll figure out
Let me ask
what
you
happens.
This.
Yeah, ask away.
Because of what you just said, and with Boras being Boras, is there anybody on that Oriole lineup right now that you could actually see being a lifer? Because based on what you said, I find it hard to believe that the Orioles are going to shell out that kind of contract for somebody like Gunnar Henderson. So is there a such thing as an Oriole lifer at this point with the lineup that they have?
Man, you're getting really the what ifs and the deep details here.
Listen, I've already asked a bunch of questions and people are already thinking it. So I'm just asking. I'm asking for the people. Asking for the people.
I honestly think
give the people what they want.
You know what I love, and this is why I appreciate players like Aaron Judge with the Yankees. He's going to be a Yankee for life. He stayed. Bobby Witt Jr. is now looked like he wants to be rooted and become a Kansas City legend. Now he can have another contract when he gets closer to 30. The value of having a player represent an organization, represent a city, a franchise, to me is one of the coolest things that you can do. But they're rare now. It's a rare breed. So the question at least is, how many of them could it be, Brad? I don't know. And it might only of the group be one. And who do you want that one to be? Maybe two. Like, even look at right now with the Astros.
Yeah.
We're going to figure out what's going to happen with Alex Bregman.
Right.
Does he take the deal to stay or does he leave?
Vlad
Guerrero Jr. is going to be in a situation.
Yeah.
Bo Bichette, what are the Blue Jays going to do here? And by the way, the Blue Jays being aggressive on moves, I think they're going to be aggressive for another winter meetings before they make some decisions. We'll get into that here in a moment. So if that's the case, the guy that would rip your heart out right now to see him somewhere else would be Gunnar.
Yeah.
So, but Gunnar has the ability to be that guy. to be that figure. I think that's something that fans gravitate towards. That's how legends are truly made, is that if you're able to be there through the thick and thin and also be a part of one organization, but that's not how things are nowadays, Brad. It's just not.
Right.
Like, time's going to come for guys that have already been here. The only chance I can see it is like if Cedric Mullins were to sign a 3 or 4 year deal and stay with Baltimore, and then his career could come to an end. But if you're talking about like Hall of Fame caliber, could be that next one that gets a statue outside the stadium. Yeah, those guys are few and far between here. Like Soto, I don't even know where the legend of Soto is going to be. It would have
to be the Mets now.
It would have to be the Mets.
Yeah.
But he's got a journey already. Now this is his 4th team.
Right.
So
that would be like, I think, a good question that maybe I may end up or having you ask some of the smaller market GMs or whatever. It's like, if you're in a small market, how do you keep some of these players? Or do you have the philosophy of like, well, I understand that we're never going to be able to keep this kind of talent, and we have to figure out what we're going to do in the farm system. You know what I mean? Like,
oh yeah.
Do you already go into it when you have a phenom like that, knowing that you're just not going to be able to keep him around?
Yeah. I mean, it's perplexing.
Yeah.
It's truly perplexing. There is something. You're talking about morale. You're talking about just the whole feeling of the team.
Right.
When you have someone that you can feel as your stable rock, that's why we looked at. Could you imagine it? Yes, you could imagine Aaron Judge somewhere else. But imagine.
I mean, he's a Yankee.
He's a Yankee. And because he's a Yankee, they have belief.
Yeah.
They have belief because Aaron Judge is a New York Yankee. Right. You need those guys matter. They're your pillars. They're your foundation. And the Yankees are a big market team where they're going to stay through it.
Right.
Kansas City with Bobby Witt Jr. is probably the best
I was
example.
about to say, yeah.
He's the best example here.
Yeah.
Where the Royals, man, I'm hoping. We put in a request to talk to the Royals. We're waiting to hear. They said, hey, things are moving. Maybe we can get them today, tomorrow. And I know Baltimore fans can be like, oh, gosh, man, this team just pisses me off in the playoffs. I'll tell you what, I am so impressed with the Royals. They signed Bobby Witt Jr., but Bobby is open to being that in Kansas City.
Right.
And then now there's a glimmer of hope that through the bad years, they have this young star, and now they're coming out of it. And I think they're going to be good for a while, and they're putting in some very good things. So, Brad, you're right. The one player for a small market can change the impact, but not every player still wants to be attracted to come play there, right? That's the difference with big markets. New York had it best when it was Derek Jeter, because you had Jeter, but then people wanted to come play in New York. So it works out. Like, oh, you believe in the organization. Oh, you got Jeter. It's hard for a team to convince to go to like a smaller market. Like, I'm trying to think of the smaller market teams where the recruiting, like St. Louis is a great baseball town.
Yeah.
Fantastic. I'd consider them smaller market though.
Yeah.
They were able to convince and they were able to trade and get Arenado and they are Goldschmidt, and then they underperformed. But who's their guy? Yadier Molina left. Right. Like that was their guy. Hey, we got Yadi. It's a great game. You have the questions today, man. Is it dressed up? It's because you got some rest. I don't know what it is.
I mean, I think it's just because being here in winter meetings, there's been so many, like, for me personally, and I know that obviously you have. We got Mark over there.
Who?
Mark, our boy Mark.
Where are we looking?
Right over there. He's pointing at us right now.
Oh, there's Mark. Yeah, we're live.
We're good.
What's up? Well, I mean, we already talked about, we're just kind of going, and this is part of it. We already told our audience hey, we're just going to have conversations. What's up? Oh, he's coming over now? Oh, I think so Lewis said that a meeting changed and then he let me know. So I just hadn't heard back. Oh, that's why you came over. You didn't want to come say hi to me. That's messed up. We also got booted from our spot yesterday. Okay,
it is a good spot. I'm not going to complain about it. Look,
we were right there.
The backdrop is awesome. You should see.
Oh, it adds so much depth and makes my hair look way more
like you have more of it
to the eye. Is that the goal? Well, I don't want that to be Dan. Oh, what later on, or is it broad daylight? Oh, perfect. Perfect.
Yeah,
Can you send that to me?
Yeah,
Because I'd love to share it with
Absolutely.
everybody. You can see this video on MLB Network all the time here.
We got a lot of people live watching right now, so that'll be hilarious.
They're very interested. Thank you. All right, where are you going to be around? You're not leaving? Never. Appreciate it, Mark. Thank you. So Dan O'Dowd's going to join us here.
Sweet.
In a little bit. So
Mark, that was Mark Alpha for the people who are watching with the MLB Network. He's
senior executive.
Oh my gosh, he's been
amazing,
instrumental in the success of this whole trip.
Amazing.
Putting us in contact with the right people. Is such a good dude. But as I was saying, I think this plays in perfectly of where the questions and the juices start flowing. It's just that, like, for me personally, you know, not being involved in sports as much as you are, I think I have a lot of questions that a lot of the fans
and that's what we need.
And so, like, being here sparks a lot of that curiosity. So yeah, I mean, it's just I love learning this stuff.
Yeah, and you know what? So, like, this is the beauty. We take a lot of pride, and a lot of people, and the people that we're going to have on here take pride in giving you insight and our responsibility here. And you can go to a lot of different places, sure. And we encourage you to. But while you're here, hit that like and subscribe button. And I promise you, you are going to learn something that you either didn't know, or you're going to enjoy the conversations, because we're going to try to take it, peel back the layer. You know, as Donkey would say, right, in Shrek, onions have layers.
Yes.
No. Sorry, Shrek said that about himself. Ogres have layers like onions. I just completely butchered that. Completely. Yeah, I know. But so we're going to have Dan O'Dowd joining us here soon. That's great. Having a good time. So for those who don't know, Dan O'Dowd is a former general manager of the Colorado Rockies, hired by the Rockies. He spent 15 years with the Orioles and formerly the Cleveland Indians, now the Guardians here. So he's got a lot of GM experience. So I cannot wait. So you guys want to talk about learning the game a little bit more, what's happening, what we're doing. Dan's going to join us here for our first guest in this process. And what we're going to do is we'll just shift over.
Yeah.
It's all good. When I move, you move, Brad.
Just like that.
Just like that. If you guys are new to the channel, hit that like and subscribe button. We are live from the winter meetings for baseball in Dallas here, and it is great. It is buzzing. It's starting to pick up here.
It's awesome. I mean, just seeing so many people here that either trying to get a job or you know, just players, coaches, whatever. We saw Adam Jones just right before we went live. We saw we already talked about Jim Thome. Just all the guys behind the scenes. It's just been an awesome experience.
Yeah, Jim Thome gave me a very intense handshake and like man hug. It was fantastic. We're going to try to get Jim too. Sean Casey just sent me a text message on the MLB Network. So trying to line up with Sean.
Okay. John Morosi's coming on maybe today or tomorrow.
John Morosi today or tomorrow. You know, and again, like we said, there are people that will come up. So it's the spontaneous of this stream. If someone like Mark comes up and we're going to shoot the shit, because that's what we do here. We try to have some fun. I know on our normal show, for everyone that's wondering, we talk about baseball. We talk about whatever, football. But right now it's all about baseball in the winter meetings. And there are so many things that are going on, and got the confirmation. Okay to come on over with Dan O'Dowd.
Yes.
Yes, it is.
You want to share the video?
Or it's in the StreamYard. Let me see if I can pull it up there. I gotta download. What the heck is this? Oh, because my Wi-Fi is terrible. That's why. My Wi-Fi it's terrible, so I can't download it.
I got it.
Yeah, if you don't mind doing that.
So give the backstory here.
So the backstory here, you hear stories throughout the winter meetings, right? And the beauty of this is it's not just about what deals get done. It's about what happens here. And one of the last times that the winter meetings were here in Dallas at this hotel, the Hilton Inn Hotel, let's just say a certain person was walking, and there's a lot of places to walk here, but he thought that maybe this was a glass walkway, and it turned out it, in fact, was an indoor
He was also
stream on his phone. Well, he claims a few things. He claims that there was some other things that distracted him. That's why it happened. And as you upload the video, he just face plants. And it's something that MLB Network shows every single year about what happens. So hopefully we have some more of those fun stories of what's happening here. And again, if you're new to the channel, hit that like and subscribe button. We're looking over. I'm not seeing anything at the Yes Network yet.
I'm struggling here.
You're still struggling with it, or did it not pop up?
I'm just struggling to get it actually downloaded. So hold on. I'll just share my screen real quick.
Share it?
Yep.
Okay, let's share it. Let's do it.
It is hilarious. Yeah, MLB Network shares it every time, and it is so hilarious.
It's fantastic. Also, too, they've talked to the guy, and the guy also does some work with the minor leagues, talking about how players can take care of their finances. So his cover got broken. So here's the video.
Oh, yeah, here you go.
Got it?
Yeah. So you see that guy walking.
And
Boom.
So tough for the program.
There you go. Look, there he goes.
We got Dan
just
coming over
walking.
right now. That's fantastic. Let me
all right, here we go.
Let's move around for a minute.
Yep.
Move this here.
Yep.
Cool. Check 1, 2. We'll bring this on back. Guys, just about to have Dan O'Dowd join us here in a moment. Man, this is going to be a fun day, man. I'll tell you what. Having fun. Yeah, right here. Dan, how you doing? Good to see you. Thanks for joining.
How are you? I'm Dan O'Dowd.
How's it going?
Good. Hey, nice to put the face to the name. Oh man, went to my high school. Well, we'll talk about that off the air. We'll talk about that later. Yeah. Tough one to come into right now. Can you hear us loud and clear?
I was a
All right.
Baltimore guy, huh? I didn't realize that.
Yeah.
How's your dad doing?
He's good.
Just tell him I said hi.
I will. He kind of avoids my calls, to be honest.
Well, eventually you'll talk to him around the holidays.
Well,
When you do.
so now getting into this. So how do we best describe you? You're a front office connoisseur. You've had all the type of experience.
Yeah,
Why don't you explain to our audience specifically?
Yeah, I don't know what you describe me as. A kind of jack of all trades at this point in time. No, probably a front office executive that now talks about the games of baseball, but doesn't agonize over who wins or loses on a nightly basis.
So that's kind of nice.
That's very nice.
So of all the spots, what was the most agonizing throughout your journey in the front office?
Colorado by far. You know, it's like you're playing baseball at 5280. I call it the 5280 experiment.
Yeah.
So that means 5,280 feet above sea level.
Yeah.
Sister knows that going to Boulder. She knows what that feels like.
Oh, yeah.
And so trying to figure out the quantum physics around rest and recovery, ball movement at home, no ball movement on the road from a hitting standpoint.
Yeah.
Pitchers react differently at home than differently on the road. It was really, really challenging. Can't say I ever figured it out, but man, it certainly was a challenge.
So that's something obviously you're thinking about when you're trying to figure out constructing a team, a roster. It's one of the many things that you have to think about. And I'll tell you what, that's not what people are thinking back in Baltimore, in Boston, or New York. There's different.
Yeah, no,
types
that's
of
the thing
situations.
is that unless you walk in those shoes, like the people after me or people before me, no one really understands. You know, traditionally, I grew from underneath your dad's model in Baltimore in my early years. And took that to Cleveland. And, you know, we talked a lot about roster construction. Never did we have to talk about the same issues that we talked about in Colorado on a consistent basis.
So you've had obviously just mentioned then, your background, spent time in Baltimore, Cleveland. So I think one of these big things, so Soto signed for a little bit of money.
Just a little bit,
about half, I guess it's more than half of what the Orioles were sold for. And we're looking at big markets, small markets. You've had to work in these types of situations. And
never a large market, Ryan. I never had the wherewithal, never ever worked in a large market. I don't even know what that may feel like to spend that kind of money.
So you're the perfect person to explain all of this. So I try to tell people, Blake Snell had the offer out there, right? What was it, 5 years, $182 million goes to the Dodgers. And yes, a team like Baltimore, a team that could be a smaller market, they could have an interest in them. But let's say the deals are similar. And you're looking at LA, you're looking at Boston and New York examples, and you have to explain then, all right, to a player that doesn't have connections to the city, why should you come here over somewhere else? In your mind, explain how hard it is to navigate with those.
It is.
Markets.
I think the Orioles have a little different less of a challenging sell because the core of that young club is so dynamic.
Yeah.
You're not trying to sell them on a vision of what you hope to become.
Yeah.
You kind of already there, and those guys are like, I wouldn't say the final pieces, but they're a big piece of what's missing to get them over the hump.
Yeah.
So that's a real compelling argument versus, like Boston, where they are now.
Yeah.
They have a good collection of young players. They've got great young position players coming, but none of them have really like broken out completely yet at the big league level. So they are trying to sell them on a vision of what you might be able to come.
Yeah.
Now, saying that, I mean, I do think the Orioles have limitations, even with the new ownership group, which I think is tremendous for the city.
Right.
I mean, can they fish in the water? Some of these guys are going to actually be able to fish in. I'm not sure. So they've got to be very strategic about who they identify, and they got to move quickly, I think, before the trickle-down effect may take everybody off the board.
Yeah, and they have to be smart and strategic with what it's going to be. And plus, the other part of it, you mentioned the young nucleus, and then I got to play with a lot of those guys. I got to play with the Orioles, so I know them well. But also, when you get up to the majors, there's that grace period. Colton Cowser had a great year, but what's his growth there? What's Jackson Holliday's growth? And it could take time, could take whatever it may be, but there is going to be a little bit of growing pains. But having said that, you go out and get a free agent where it could take away some of those at-bats.
I think that's what the O'Neill – that's the conundrum for me, and that's the issue, Ryan. I'm not sure that how I would handle it.
Yeah.
But I'm not sure they actually have a great way to handle it right now, too.
Yeah.
Because like when Westbrook came up, he didn't get the everyday at-bats.
Right.
So Gunnar Henderson kind of rotated between three different positions.
Exactly.
So he didn't get the everyday at-bats. I think they wanted to give Jackson the everyday at-bats. I think it was very noticeable. He probably needed more time.
Yeah.
In the evaluatory process of finishing off at AAA. But I mean, Kerstead doesn't need to do anything more in Norfolk.
No,
there's not a level between,
does not.
He does not a level between Norfolk and Baltimore. So he's going to have to figure some things out.
Yeah.
But to do that, as you're right, they've got to commit the at-bats.
Yeah.
Colby Mayo needs it back. He doesn't need to do anything more in Norfolk either.
Yeah.
So like something in that logjam has to break. And I'm sure they're working on that now, but they've got to let those stallions really run. They need to let them run.
And that was the part also why I think Gunnar Henderson had a little bit more of mistakes at shortstop. And I tell people the organizational structure being there, they wanted their guys to be multidimensional. So Gunnar wasn't playing shortstop every day in the minor leagues. And then his first year of playing the position for 162 is at the big league level in the American League East. And so in my mind, I'm thinking, hey, Westberg, if you want him at third, Gunnar at short, Jackson at second, amazing. Give them their reps to do that, but then something's got to give with something. Do you think that sooner than later they're going to have to make a move and maybe make another trade like they did kind of for Corbin last year?
I really think they're going to need to do that at some point in time here soon.
Yeah.
Maybe they're in the Crochet situation, which is a great fit for them. I mean, I get, quite honestly, Ryan, why they don't want to trade Colby and Kierstead, like those young, impactful position players. They're not picking up top anytime soon.
Yeah.
They're not going to get those guys deep in the draft.
Yeah.
So I understand why they coveted to hold on to him, and I'm sure that the industry is not jumping all over the place to get Mountcastle or Hearn right now, even though I'm a huge Mountcastle fan. He's just like deeper into arbitration years and closer to free agency. So they're in a little bit of a box. Personally, for me, I would just spend money if I had it to add to rotation as much as I possibly can. They've got Felix Bautista coming back for the back end of their bullpen. So, I mean, I'd try to add two starters if I could. One like Evaldi for me that could be my lead in the rotation. And then another guy, I'd love to see them with Manaea in their rotation. I think that bookends then and lets the rest of the rotation breathe a little bit and hold on to those core guys, but I'd play them. Like, they're obviously not going to re-sign Santander because they signed O'Neill. O'Neill's a really productive offensive player if he can stay healthy. So I get that signing.
Mm-hmm.
But the rest of the guys, you really do need to play, and you need to start playing them this year.
So fair to say we think that Tony, big market. New York would be a good fit if he were to go there. And it seems like reports coming out, Boston, Toronto, New York, whoever it is, what O'Neill got, that price point's going to be a lot higher. At least.
I think Tony's going to go for me. Like, he was a Rule 5 draft. Though money's relative in our game, as we know. We talk about it. He's already made a lot of money, but he hasn't made that breakthrough contract.
Yeah.
I personally feel he's going to get offered a contract in Toronto that he will have a tough time turning down.
Yeah. Well, we're gonna have to see what happens. Before I let you go, then can you explain to people what are some of your fondest moments of the winter meetings? I don't care about maybe getting the deals done. We talked about that video that keeps popping up of the gentleman walking right into the water at this place.
Yeah.
What's a good
Dan
Dan memory of the winter meetings? What do you got?
Honestly, has nothing to do with players traded.
That's fantastic.
It would have more to do with what went on in the dynamics of our room. Like Clint Hurdle, if he wasn't a major league manager, should have been like working on the circuit as a comedian.
Yeah.
And so just the storytelling amongst the scouts in the room and sharing stories, and Clint, just making people laugh on a consistent basis. We got more scout development and player development teaching done in those rooms about organizational philosophy and what we needed to do than any meetings I've been a part of. Even if we didn't accomplish anything at the meetings from a personnel standpoint, we really accomplished a whole lot, but did it in a really unique baseball environment. I'm not sure that goes on anymore in our game today. And I do miss those days because it's just a bunch of baseball people sitting around talking about the game of baseball.
Well, I think that's where just had this conversation, Brad. We had this yesterday, and we even talked with, John Morosi, and we were talking about old stories and things that even my dad told me. You learn so much from your peers when you just sit in a room and you hear an idea, you hear a thought, and it's also having a pulse of that. You got to manage people at the end of the day. You can have all these metrics that get thrown out there, which is important. I'm not downplaying that. But it's the people and how you're able to work together to try to get something else. And it's the camaraderie.
And that starts in meetings like that.
Yeah.
You develop a sense of communication and trust. You each have each other's back. You debate, but you do it respectfully.
Yeah.
I learn every day. Your uncle's taught me more about the game of baseball working here at the network than maybe I've learned from anybody in the game. Like Billy's a baseball savant.
He truly
really is a baseball savant. So it's like having the Billy Ripkens in the room educating everybody else about the game of baseball, but having willing recipients to learn those lessons day in and day out. And I really miss that part about the agents and all that. I don't miss any of that, but I miss that.
You don't miss the prices getting driven up. You think you have something done, and then you're one to pull your hair out.
I never got to fish in those waters anyway. So,
you're fine.
I always went down the list and said, okay, that's the guy.
Okay, you're not going to be available. That's fine. Last thing, one of your moments in Baltimore. You got one from time that you enjoyed?
Yeah, I mean,
one of
the 83 World Series. I mean, I got a ring from the 83 World Series. I can honestly tell you I did absolutely nothing to deserve that ring. So the moment that I remember most is that we were driving from Philly back to Baltimore, and the line of cars, as soon as we crossed into Maryland, lined up on the side of the road on the bus was just, I went, oh, this is easy to do. Yeah, like that's, I didn't get back there for a very, very long time after that.
You know what? Really I had that same conversation with my dad where his second year in the league, you're an MVP, you win the World Series, and in his mind, he goes, well, I'll be back there again. And now it's 2024. The Orioles have not gone back to the World Series. It's been 41 years. And for him, I think the Orioles only had a run of 96, 97 in his playing career of going back to the playoffs.
And 97 is what we beat them that year because I was in Cleveland.
Yeah, thanks for that.
Tony Fernandez. Well, your dad appreciated that because we ran a first, third defensive play that won that game for us.
I've heard about it, Dan.
And
I've heard about it.
And I don't know if we executed that play all year long, but man, we executed that well today. So I was torn on that one because I love the Orioles situation and their fan base, but I was also very happy to go back to the World Series.
Yeah, that, and you guys tagged Armando Benitez in 2 moments there, and Mike Mussina had that unbelievable effort in the final game of the series.
We had Armando's pitches.
Yeah, woof. Did you actually?
We did.
So what was he doing?
Tipping his glove.
Tipping in the glove, was it?
Yep.
That's tough.
Yeah.
And people were looking for that, but that was a tough moment because
back then people didn't look at it that much, though.
Not as much. Now, when they got every camera in different angle, well, I wish for a different result. But Dan, you got to run around.
Yep.
Are you going to be around later if I can just bother you, catch up?
I'm on from 5 to 7, but I'm here the rest of another 2 days after this.
Okay, I'll be here tomorrow.
Thanks, Ryan. Thanks for having me. Best of luck. You guys are doing a great job.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Again, tell your dad I said hi.
I will. Okay. I will.
When you do talk to him eventually.
Yeah, I know. Well, actually, you know what? I'm going to talk to him now, and I got to go. What else do I need to know about Dan?
Yeah, great.
That's what we're going to
tell you that. Yeah, I have some good stories.
Awesome.
Some stories about the basketball pickup games.
Oh, gosh. Did you get in on that too?
Well, he just made fun of me because he
Oh, that
dominated me
makes
so
sense.
much, and he tried to beat me up physically every time that I went over to play.
Yeah, he's a jackass when it comes to that.
Yeah, he was
As
just
a
trying to
kid,
send a point. Like he needed to send a point to me. I'm a 5'11", 6-foot point guard.
It's
He didn't
inten-
need to beat me up.
it's intentional. He did the same thing to me when I was 9 years old.
Yeah.
So,
All right,
Dan, appreciate you. All right. First one done. Cool.
I'm trying to flag down.
We're good. Good. That's fine. I know. Thank you. Yeah. Yeah, no, we're live, but we're also just getting up and around here, so all good.
Doing good?
Yeah, if there's any other people that are available, great. Yeah, you got my number, or if you see anything, just we're just gonna be live, available.
Okay, cool.
Hanging out.
Yeah, it's great. Just rolling. It's cool.
Are you staying stress free? Are you all right?
Last time was big. It was good that what happened while we were
Still there?
still there.
It was nice. It looked good. Yeah. All right, we'll see you in a little bit. All right. All right, I'll move the mics around here.
I was gonna say we don't have to, but yeah, it's fine.
Well, I need someone to talk with me.
That's fine. I'm just not gonna move the camera. I'll just be
fine.
off camera. That's fine.
Holy shirts and pants.
I do, because this is gonna be a marathon, have to take a giant piss.
Well, why don't you go do
So
that now?
you
while I
keep
can
the
do
people
this?
entertained, and I'll be
Oh,
right back.
I'm all about people helping people, baby. Oh, I got to put this behind. So here, guys. So I appreciate you guys. If you're new to the channel, hit that like and subscribe button. See, these are what these moments are about here, right? We get to learn and talk about so many different things and so many different outcomes. And this was one of the examples here. Was Dan O'Dowd coming on, and we're talking about the situation back in '97, and that's where baseball is, and the stories of it, and that's how people look at it. How tipping pitches used to be back in the day, by the way. It was that players would talk to each other being like, hey, you seen what he's doing with his glove? Hey, you seen what he's doing with his eyes? Or you see how he might try to do something that throws you off and gives you an idea of what one pitch is coming compared to another. So amazing. So, guys, if you are new to the channel, hit that like and subscribe button. And Raven Lunatic, I'm glad you loved it. This is what we got going on today. We don't know who we're going to have coming on at times, but I'll tell you what, we're going to have some great people. And what I loved with Dan, to reiterate, a guy that was front office for small market teams. He gave you the idea of what it's like, of what you're dealing with, and how some guys, it doesn't matter the price range. It's sometimes hard to bring. Now, what Baltimore has to sell to people, well, he has the opportunity to say, hey, we got a young nucleus. We can go out there and we can be good for the next 5 to 7 years. Does that sound interesting? But if it's going to come down to, hey, we're going to give you this money, some players want more than just a nucleus of a team. They want more than what the dollar bill is going to be. They're going to want, is it a place they love to be? Is it a value? So I think everything continues to figure out what can be. So amazing for what all it can be here. And that is that. Again, new to the channel, hit that like and subscribe button. We are live from the MLB winter meetings here. It has been a fantastic start to this. Dan O'Dowd, former executive, I like to call him the connoisseur, been Rockies, the Guardians, formerly the Indians, the Orioles. Even talking about 1983, right? That's the goal, to get Baltimore back to the World Series. That's the goal here. A lot of teams are going to try to stop that, though. Yankees made their first appearance back in the Fall Classic since 2009 last year. Raven Lunatic, thank you for being a member. Appreciate you. Good people right there. And Brooks, also, guys, shout out Brooks. It's his birthday today. Happy birthday, Brooks. Good kid. He just gave us $9 too. Well, that money's eventually just going to go back to get him a nice drink of his choice when we see him next time. So, but we appreciate you, Brooks. We appreciate our community. And Raven Lunatic, I remember, but I'm glad that you are back. We are back.
Yes.
And we're live here, and we're rumbling here at the winter meetings. Things are starting to heat up. The stove is starting to cook. And I do believe that we are going to see more and more things unfold here as we continue on in this winter meetings situation.
Also, we have like 200 people watching.
It's great. And we
Awesome.
got 800 something on X or whatever's going on here. When I move, you move, baby, just like that. I think a good time too. One of the reasons we're able to do this, got to shout out our sponsor back in Maryland, Adams Jeep of Maryland here, by the way.
Yeah.
Our OG sponsor. They're up near Aberdeen. We wouldn't be able to have started this off without their support. And they got the great deals. You want a used car? You go up there, you tell them that Rocco sucks, or you just love the Ryan Ripken show. They'll give you a gas card up to $1,000 when you buy a brand new or used vehicle. So go check out Adams Jeep, and they have some other specials that we will share with you guys as we continue on. But wanted to give them a quick shout out because they truly have been our biggest supporters from the start. They believe in what we're building here, and we hopefully you guys are right there with us. So, yeah. How about also the stories with just thinking back to the Guardians series executing plays in the playoffs? Like little things like that win games. And that's why I love Dan's take on how things be and how you deal with people. His biggest thing in memories was the camaraderie you had with people and you learned something. What?
Yankees or the Yes Network is about ready to go live here.
With?
I don't know. They're just about to go live. It could be part of the regularly scheduled programming.
It could be.
I just don't know.
It could be.
Do they normally do a live show at 5 p.m. Eastern time?
You know, I don't know.
After 5.
I don't know the schedule religiously on the Yes Network. I know. Shame on me.
I don't even know why I asked that question.
Yeah, you don't know.
What else was I going to say? I was going to say something in regards to that, but whatever.
Oh, sugar.
Sugar.
This day, man.
It's been a blur.
It really has been.
Since we've been here, it's been a blur. I'm not complaining.
Oh, no, I'm saying it's been a fun blur.
Yeah.
It's been a fun blur here. And we got a lot of things going on. Oh, new deal just happened, I guess, in the last 13 minutes. Alex Cobb going to the Detroit Tigers on a 1-year deal. Alex Cobb, former Baltimore Oriole.
Yeah.
So that's what we got moving on right now. So I don't have the context on the deal of what it looks like, but we do know that. So that's one.
Was he injured last year?
Cobb came back, pitched for the Guardians.
Yeah. Okay.
But he is a guy that has dealt with injuries over the last X amount of time. And also, too, one thing that is official today, Roki Sasaki has officially been posted to MLB clubs. So that's happening. So we're wondering if that's going to be.
Expressed a lot of interest in playing for the Dodgers. I don't know.
Isn't that a shock?
Don't know if that's going to be.
Isn't that a shocker for everyone out there?
Which, by the way, we actually talked about this with John Morosi yesterday afternoon. And he was a wealth of knowledge when it came to the Japanese players that are, slated to come over here. Which I was just kind of blown away by. He gave me a bunch of names, gave you a bunch of names to write down and remember. Of course we didn't, but this one will be interesting to kind of see where he ends up landing. Obviously he wants to be in LA, but I just don't think there's going to be enough room in LA for him this year.
I don't know, but LA always finds some room somehow, some way. It's something. I don't know.
How many players can you pay on that 40-man roster?
Oh, they're finding a way to pay every single one of them something.
Yeah.
So we'll find out here. And by the way, also, just kind of wanted to reiterate a couple things here. And I just had what I wanted pulled up, and now I lost it. So I completely lost my train of thought because I was trying to figure out, what I wanted to do. Sorry, Stanley. There we go. Watching from Tidewater, you plan to have Rock on the show. Rock's not here. Not that I understand. I don't think anyone from Masson is here.
Nope.
We're here, though. We're here on the Ryan Ripken Show. So you're new to the channel, hit that like and subscribe button. We do this live every Monday, Thursday. I know we talk about football and all that, but today it's baseball. This stream, baseball. You don't like baseball? Probably shouldn't be here today. But we got a lot of things going on in the winter meetings. We are live from Dallas at the Hilton Inn Hotel, where things are starting to pick up little by little, piece by piece.
We saw Brandon Hyde earlier. We'll try to get him on. Maybe not today, but more than likely tomorrow, I would guess.
Whatever.
Could happen today. Never know.
You never know. I'm just still.
Have we heard back from the O's?
No, Nate said he will keep me posted on what things could be.
Cool.
Just like we had with Dan, it was, hey, he's coming over. Are you ready?
Yeah, that's how it is, guys. It's just one of those things where if they're passing through, they might stop on by. So
yeah. But you know what's interesting, and I like this. I appreciate having the AL East conversations in here. And Alex, what would the Yankees plan B be? Well, BB. Yeah, one of them is going to involve possibly Anthony Santander, right? Tony Taters, former Baltimore Oriole, not coming back to Baltimore after the Tyler O'Neill deal. Doesn't make sense.
You know what? Oh my gosh, I was just thinking of who else could go to the Yankees. And it was
yes. What position, what team, or
the Mets just got
Pete Alonso?
Yes, thank you. God damn, why I don't know why I couldn't think of that. Yeah, Pete Alonso could be a Yankee.
Yeah, he could be, but
do you think that's possible?
Well, so I'll say this. I know a lot of people want to look at a left-handed bat going, man, we want that to short porch. I'll tell you what, if you are a right-handed hitter that can use the opposite field, use the whole field, that's why Aaron Judge to me is even more spectacular, is because he has great opposite field power. So he's not afraid to go the other way. And at New York,
no matter the ballpark,
that's a phenomenal spot, though.
Yeah.
The short porch, hey, you get a little jam, something happens, whammy, there you go. So I think it could happen. Do I expect it to happen, though, Brad? I don't think that Pete Alonso would be a fit there. I still think they just love that left-handed pop. I know people are saying Cody Bellinger. There's rumors out there here, and it's still starting to rumble. Are the Cubs going to try to make a move and keep moving past it? Yeah, the answer is definitely could be happening. But I think we're kind of sitting tight. And I do honestly think what happens with Santander, what's the price point here? Where does he go? Does he sign early? Dan thinks that Toronto could be a big spot where Santander goes. That's where he thinks they're going to make him a deal he's not going to be able to refuse. But the other part of it is maybe a deal for Bellinger would be after the Santander or as teams realize they're not in on Tony. So if the Yankees or the Red Sox or Blue Jays are saying, yep, we're not in on Tony, then okay, they're going to explore the option for Cody Bellinger. That's kind of what I think is going to happen here. So, Ethan, like that's the part of it, like Bellinger, left-handed bat. The one thing I will caution when it comes to players, and this is the part, throw out the analytics. Analytics are great for the game, right? They do its part. It's not me saying that, but one of the biggest things when you play in a place like New York, Boston, the phrase, you can't measure a player's heartbeat. And it's not that you might take it in whatever different ways, but it's, can you play with the pressures and expectations of New York? Can you play with the expectations when you're someone else? And I'll give you an example earlier. You guys remember Joey Gallo getting traded to the Yankees a few years ago?
Yep.
That was a place he was not comfortable from the start. It was not a comfortable fit. He really struggled. Yes, you can say he has a lot of swing and miss to his game, but the added pressure and context didn't add to that for a guy like Joey Gallo. So I wonder, Cody Bellinger, yes, he did it in LA, was an MVP, but then he really struggled to find himself. Now he's found it again. If he feels he's comfortable with the expectations and pressures, just like the Yankees might think, then yes, sign him up, dude, because I think he's one of the most high upside players that could be available right now. I really do. The dude can freaking swing it.
It is reported that the Yankees, Red Sox, and Blue Jays are also interested in Alex Bregman.
I see it.
Yeah.
Honestly, I think Boston would be a good place for him.
I was just about to say.
I think Boston,
out of those
Bregman,
three teams, yeah.
I like Bregman in Boston, to be honest.
The Mets are also in on Bregman.
They're in on everybody, man. It's left and
like,
right of what's happening here. And you know who's in? We got a lot of people in this chat right now. So again, if you're new to the channel, hit that like and subscribe button. Brian Ripken Show, we are live here from the winter meetings. It's great. We're having a great time. Yeah, we are based out of Baltimore, and we talk about football, but we are baseball through and through. That's our backbone. So when 2025 starts and baseball is back, don't you worry. We're going to have so much content here, and we're going to have hopefully a chance to talk to some other organizations and teams upcoming here. We're going to talk with the Rays organization, talk about how they go about things and how they're able to orchestrate and be able to help their team. So we will. Oh,
what's up?
Oh, there's a player that's in the building for tomorrow night. Hey, now
For the barbecue?
No. Just a player that can hop on the show. Friend of the show already. Friend of the program.
Okay.
Yeah, we can let it. We
We'll
can
keep
let
that a secret, but
we'll let him come on here. So, guys, maybe there will be
friend of the show.
Friend of the show, friend of the program. We got a Baltimore Oriole that will possibly join the show tomorrow night.
There we go.
Maybe mark your time for 5:45. Let's throw it out there.
Uh-oh.
Hey, now, I will write that in. So this is the beauty of it, guys. This happens. We talk about it. And he's an awesome guy.
Yes.
Oh, I'm excited about that.
Really good dude.
Really good dude. So, we are not going to tell Zach about this.
He is here.
Zach, we might
He's
tell
back.
you about this. Oh, hey, Zach.
Hold
We're
on.
back.
I'm going to message it to Zach so everybody can see his reaction.
I'm excited. Yeah, had a little technical difficulties. Happened. Mac Charger completely just decided today was not the day to work. So
Sweet.
Proud
we're
of that.
back. Yeah, shout out to my girlfriend for letting me use her Mac. So had to after about 15 minutes of doing every possible thing that the internet told me to do, I was like, we're calling in the backup. So we went to the bullpen, and here we are.
Check the chat, Zach.
Sorry, I'm responding to emails here, everyone.
I knew you'd like that one.
Yeah, the Baltimore
Yeah,
community.
that'll be a good one. That'll be a good one.
Baltimore Oriole community is definitely going to like that one tomorrow. I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
Just writing that back. Boom. We are having a good time. We're live here, having a good time in the winter meetings. More of the situation of what we're talking about and what we're doing. Back to that Bregman conversation.
Yeah.
The reason why I think the Bregman could be a fit in Boston was more so of the fact because it reminds me of the kind of having that short porch in Houston. Bregman was very comfortable, and Bregman's a full all-around hitter, right? He can hit the ball to all parts of the park, good power, but really just a good hitter. But then you think, is Rafael Devers going to be the long-term option at third? I don't see that. Personally, I think you're starting to see Devers isn't as dynamic, but I'll tell you what, he can swing the stick. He could go over to the first base side and play over there. That's a possibility. They do have Tristan Casas, but I think that's also something that if you're interested in a player and you want to make it fit, you go and make a move. I'll be curious with that. I really do. I think that Houston's going to have to offer Bregman more than that 6-year, $150 million to keep him.
Yeah.
Is what it's seeming like here. And then on another note here, we're seeing about the conversation of Santander and Teoscar Hernandez. We haven't even talked about Teoscar yet.
Right.
And you saw Michael Conforto just signed with the Dodgers. Not saying it's not plausible to bring it back, but we just saw what Soto got. You expect that Santander is going to get a lot. Teoscar is right in that same mix where they have similar numbers, Zach. Like that Teoscar, Santander, the biggest difference, we did a breakdown on this channel. The biggest difference between the two players was the ability in one specific count with 2 strikes. Teoscar is light years better than what Santander was. And you saw in the playoffs him come through in big moments. So Teoscar, pedigree, the player, and I believe, Brad, he's going to go to a big market. And Zach, I think you're in the same boat with me on that as well.
Yeah, for sure. I think Teoscar Hernandez, especially because of who lost the Juan Soto sweepstakes. I never thought that he was going to be a Met, but it kind of felt like if Juan Soto wasn't in New York, or Juan Soto was, I guess you have to say, wasn't with the Yankees. If Soto didn't return to the Yankees, it felt like Teoscar was very, I don't want to say shoe in there because we all obviously know about Anthony Santander, but just a perfect fit. And same with Boston. I think Boston would be almost more ideal than New York, simply because Teoscar playing wall ball with the Green Monster, just if I'm him, he would probably have added 8-9 more doubles to his stats this season that were outs in most ballparks. But if you can just pull it, get it in the air a little bit in Fenway like he does, it's going to be a lot of home runs and doubles off the wall for Teoscar there.
Yeah, and also no pitcher, if you go back and look at the breakdown, loves an off-speed pitch inside more than Teoscar Hernandez, man. That dude, he really has gotten comfortable. Not just that it could be a low pitch, maybe it's a mistake pitch, or, hey, it's not a bad pitch, it gets inside, but Teoscar's able to pull his hands in and just hit a big ball, right? Guy knows what he's doing. He's a good hitter. He's been established now, and I think a team going to a ballpark-friendly place is only going to help him and enhance him. And a team like Boston, Brad, they're trying to make that rise back. I think they over-exceeded expectations last year where people were not expecting them to really compete, and they did. And they had injuries, and they battled, but now they look like they're ready with some of their young players that aren't as established, which Dan O'Dowd did talk about today. So I think that will be interesting to see what's going to happen. So it'll be fun. It will be a lot of fun. We haven't heard as much with Teoscar, at least that name being buzzing. The Tony Tater's name is the one that's become the hotter one being talked about here in Dallas right at the moment.
I like this one. I think the Yankees do get Christian Walker too,
or
at least they try to go for him. I think Christian Walker would be a good Yankee. And the Yankees need a good first baseman as well. I like that. I like that one a lot. I was also kind of thinking, like, I know a lot of people want to see the O's make some big splashes, but is there a real need to? I mean, with all the young talent that we have, that the Orioles have, is there a real need to make a big splash in winter meetings? The only thing that I would say as far as splashes are concerned, and we've already kind of talked about or speculated about Evaldi a little bit, is the pitching, or is just to continue to create that depth. The injury bug really bit the Orioles this year, and no worse area than pitching.
Yeah,
so that's the only area that I would actually see, in my opinion, because the offense is there. Just it wasn't there, of course, late in the fall, but I think the offense is really there, and I don't know if there's really much the O's have to do other than continue to build that depth in the pitching.
Yeah, so the part, and that's what I love talking about with him, was this sensation when you're looking at the team and what you got to do and what you're trying to build. You have to let your young players figure it out. And look, haven't we been saying this for the longest time about you've been shuffling around, and then we've been saying that the Orioles love versatility. I've told you guys that. Dan used the word multidimensional. Like, he wants them to be, they say you got to be able to play multiple positions, which teams love. But then at some point, you got to be able to say, this is my everyday guy at one position, give him opportunities, right? So that's why Jordan Westberg, put him at third base. Gunnar Henderson, you wanted to be your shortstop, put him there.
Yeah.
Jackson Holliday second, and then let your guys develop. But to your point, Brad, they do have a lot of young guys that need to keep playing. The one thing with pitching, though, because you see how scarce pitching can get, the Dodgers are looking to go to a six-man rotation.
Yeah.
And the reason they kept bringing guys in, they know how quickly you can lose a guy, and they're willing to play ball that way. I think that's something that the Orioles can look into. And Nathan Eovaldi is the name that we keep circling, guys. Keep circling and circling. To me, it makes a lot of sense. And I don't think that the Orioles are going to break the bank for one of those top guys. Nathan Eovaldi, with hoping that Kyle Bradish gets back. Maybe you go and get one more arm if you go get Eovaldi. And I think that you're leaving the chips where they are there. So it's a fascinating conversation. Fascinating conversation.
I think there's some speculation on Anthony Rizzo going to Pirates. Not officially, but like there are deep
rumblings,
deep talks. Yeah.
Yeah. All you got to do is walk around here, go to the bathroom, and you might get something going on here. While we take we're not even taking a break because we're rocking and rolling. We're staying live. Well, as we just take a second to take a deep breath here. Got Zach here. Brad's behind the scenes making this all happen here. So if you're new to the channel, hit that like and subscribe button. Ryan Ripken Show live in Dallas, where the winter meetings are being held for baseball. Zach, you're there. I think there's a wild Kevin Ostreicher in the background. Hi, Kevin.
Hey, guys.
we doing?
How's Dallas treating you? Weather's nice over there. Got some barbecue going, fire pits.
Yeah, it's 70 degrees. And
Well,
sunny.
okay. Yesterday it was like 40 and raining.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And then
Because
tomorrow-
I'm over here shivering with my heavy coat on, and I'm like, man, I'm a little jealous of the barbecues going on.
Oh, the barbecue yesterday. I'll tell you what, man. Texas, some good BBQ.
Bro, we had mac and cheese with barbecue chips sprinkled on top of it.
Oh yeah.
You might have to bring something back for us, man. That sounds too good.
Might have to ship it.
I saw barbecue mac and cheese, and I was like, "Oh, this looks good." And then they handed it to me, and I'm like, "There's literally like crushed barbecue chips on the top of this thing. It's crazy."
Yeah, it was.
I feel like in Dallas, you can just put barbecue in front of anything, and it's a thing there.
Yeah, Dallas or like Texas in general, but like Kansas City, I feel like has the better barbecue. Just my humble opinion.
Oh yeah. Well, you know
Nothing
what?
like a Kansas City burnt.
I was gonna say Kansas City. We might have to figure that out. If we can get the Kansas City reps at some point for this to come on,
Yeah,
I would love to just talk about food.
in Texas.
Don't mess with Texas, baby. That's what we're trying. We're trying, as we know, guys. So everyone knows we're live 3 to 5, but we might be live for a very long time. I don't know when we're gonna stop because
we don't know.
like right now we're even here. Like we might have opportunities to talk to people at 5.
Okay.
Which our time, which would be in another hour and a half.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, maybe what do we do? Do we pop off, pop back on, or do we just stay live for another hour and a half until somebody comes around?
I don't know. There's a lot. There's so much room for activities. What should we do, Kevin? Kevin, do you have anything that we're not seeing on here that we can talk about?
Not baseball news wise. I think you guys got Alex Cobb in. I think that was the last. That was the last inkling of anything that I've seen. I mean, I guess have we any Corbin? Have we talked about Corbin at all today? A little.
We've touched on Corbin. That's a name now with the money being out, or now that the Yankees are not going after Soto anymore. It's done. He's a Met. That's money that could be spent elsewhere. I still think that would be a bigger dagger than Tony Tater's going there, because Corbin.
Yeah.
The only reason I would think Corbin should leave Baltimore is that he was going to go out west, and I still am going to stay with that. He's going to go out west, but if he goes to Boston or New York, then that's just what's going to piss you off a little bit more, because Tony, it's like, all right, you got a replacement there. Corbin, you traded for him, and you understand he's not from the area, but he's a top-end guy, and they're going to, from what I understand, they obviously want to give him a competitive offer. If he goes to your rival in the process and doesn't go near home, yeah, it's going to rub you the wrong way, And I don't blame him. I don't blame it at all, but that's just a reality of what we are dealing with at this moment in time. So
yeah. Well, actually, there's another question. Zach and I talked about this on Saturday, but with O'Neill signing.
Oh, sure.
Ryan, I'll ask this to you first, and obviously Brad and Zach, I know your answer already, but do you think the Orioles are done in the outfield? Like, could they bring in another guy, or do you think that they're set?
Can I get my answer? I already have my answer.
Go ahead.
I would say that they are done unless they plan on trading for an outfielder, because if there's one thing the Orioles have is leverage. If they had interest in an outfielder, it would be in the form of a trade of some sort because of the backlog of young talent that they have. That would be my only thing. Other than that, no, I would say they're done in the outfield.
Yeah, I think for the money that you want to spend, it would be a lower end deal if they were to get somebody. But then you got to ask yourself, you're rolling with Cedric, you're rolling with Hauser, Tyler O'Neill. Your fourth outfielder now would be Heston Kjerstad at this moment in time, which, again, that rotation, if you want Heston to get at bats, let him be the fourth outfielder. Correct. If you're going to do that.
Mm-hmm. So, I mean, you probably might even think about throwing Kobe out.
No. I mean, you can. You can think about it, but I doubt that they would do that.
So what would they do with Kobe Mayo?
We don't have, do we? I don't know. Well, I guess we do have a lot of time.
Yeah, you have all the time in the world out there.
Yeah, Westy, that's why I said about like the trading for one, because there is a backlog of talent there. It's just, what do you do with Kobe?
It's interesting at the outfield position. They have some up. They even have outfielder prospects on outfield prospects.
Yeah.
So it's just that logjam of it. But then I'm really trying to figure out what that first base situation is going to be. If you're talking about Kobe Mayo, it's got to be if something happens with Ryan Mountcastle, because I don't see or envision a world where Kobe's going to play. If you're looking at the Orioles being healthy with Westberg, Gunnar, Jackson Holiday as your three infielders with a healthy Jorge Mateo, and Mountcastle and O'Hearn's on the team, I don't see where the spot is. I think Kobe starts in AAA if that's the case, and then you're waiting for an injury or you're waiting for something to happen. That's what it's telling me right there. If you move Mountcastle, then that opens up where Ryan O'Hearn and Kobe Mayo can be over there. But then do you feel like that's a comfortable position defensively there? And look, it's not that I don't think Kobe Mayo can play third base. I'm just looking at, if you're looking at optimizing both your lineup defensively and offensively, Jordan Westberg's your guy at third base. And I stand firm on that. Westberg is your third baseman. If Jackson's not your guy at second for the season, then you're rolling with Jorge Mateo and you can do a little rotation, but Kobe's not playing second either. So that's my thought, Kevin. That's what I got right there.
Yeah, I saw, and I see it all in the chat. I mean, Fato's fan, I see that you said it here. Kobe to first when Mounty's traded. Ryan, I know that's what you were just talking about right there. I know, Zach, everybody puts the pieces together about Seattle. And if one of those, Seattle needs the offense, the Orioles need the pitching. I mean, I know that you're a big fan of maybe a pairing happening there.
Yeah, I mean, once again, I feel like I've just like a broken record at this point because I've said it so much. I don't understand how these two teams haven't discussed. I mean, maybe I'm sure they have not made a deal yet in the past year and a half, because it's been the same thing for over a year now. It's Seattle has the world's greatest, I guess, pool of talent when it comes to young pitchers, and the Orioles have the world's greatest pool of talent when it comes to young hitters. Orioles would like some more pitchers. Mariners would like some more hitters. It just seems like a match made in heaven. I would love, especially there are rumors of guys like Luis Castillo being on the trading block. Get me one of those guys, literally, really any 1 through 5 in Seattle to add to this rotation. We've talked about getting an Eovaldi as well and making a trade. You do that, I think this rotation is set up very nicely for not just this year, but going forward. And then you can also, like we've talked about, free up some opportunities for some other guys to get more playing time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Playing time is the key. Playing time is what you're going to have to assess what you value. And Dan O'Dowd, executive for all those years, we just had him on earlier in the stream 20, 30 minutes ago. He talked about that of, this is the game you're going to have to play. This is what you're going to have to do. And if the Orioles, with their young talent, you owe it to know what you have. But I think they got something with Heston Kjerstad. I saw in the chat 27. You need to see what you got. You need to see what you got here. And if you think you're not going to have him as an everyday, just like you thought with Norby, then you make a move. But it's got to be for the right value or when I say there's a player you want to go out to get. And does that team feel that same way about Heston? Like, how do teams view Heston? Do they view him as high as that Orioles fans do? I don't know. I love Heston. I told you guys I thought he was the best pure left-handed bat at the time in 2023 that could help the team. Things change. Cowser overall better defensively. Cowser should have been or could have been a rookie of the year. He's only going to get better in my eyes. He's got to work on some things, but I think he's going to be fantastic. Birdland Network, I'm seeing this. Not understanding the infatuation with Jorge Mateo. Good defensively, terribly offensively, and can run, not an everyday player. And he's taking a roster spot for a guy like Mayo. But here's the thing. He's really not, because you're asking Jorge Mateo moving forward to not be an everyday guy. You're asking him to be a utility guy. Kobe Mayo is not a utility player. Jorge Mateo would be the guy that would play second and short and could play outfield. Kobe Mayo is not that. And also, do you want Kobe to be that utility guy and sits on the bench for X amount of games, and he plays 100 games, 80 games, 90 games, whatever it is. So just a thought there. Just a thought there. And Jorge Mateo, he is a steel machine king. That's true. No doubt about it, man. And we keep forgetting that there is, with Ramon Arias, just remembering his name. Good kid.
Yeah. That's
hey, Paul.
Just another one.
Paul, what you got going on? Yeah? You want to hop on for a moment? Come on in.
There we go.
Hey, we got Paul Mancano of the Baltimore Banner joining us. We had Dan.
Oh, let's go.
Oh, God. I'm following Dan O'Dowd?
Yeah. Not like literally following him.
Okay.
But yes.
I'm going to be your least accomplished guest on this entire show.
Okay. You got to talk yourself up here, Paul. Paul does a fantastic job. He's one of the best guys you can find with Baltimore-related sports content. Here he is talking. We're picking ourselves up. We're peacocks. You got to let you fly. All right?
Got to let it fly.
You got to let it fly. How we doing? How has your experience been so far here with the winter meetings?
It's been good. It's let me tell you, it is a lot of just chit-chatting. That's mostly, I'd say 90% of what it is. This is your first winter meetings. What's your experience been like?
Well,
so what you expected?
I don't know what the hell we expected, to be completely
Go in with
honest.
no expectations. That way you're never disappointed.
Uh-oh.
Oh, no.
Hey, Brad, you might have knocked something with the is it off? Are we off?
No, you're good.
No, you're here.
You can see us?
Yeah, you're good.
See you?
Oh, then I'm just losing my mind.
All right.
Yeah, I was gonna say
That's on me. It's not a Brad thing. It's a Ryan thing. It's my internet, so don't worry about that.
I think you got to close the 245 tabs that you have.
Dude,
This
there is
insane.
like 20.
No judgment.
This is why it takes so long for his
Oh, there's
videos.
been plenty of judgment. Yeah.
Close them.
That was just some horse shit right there. Hey, Paul, where were you yesterday when the Juan Soto deal happened?
In my bed. I was trying to relax after the end of a long day. I was on the phone with my girlfriend, and then I said, Juan Soto, $765 million. And I jumped out of bed and literally ran downstairs. I mean, it was like Christmas morning, except, the Orioles didn't sign Juan Soto.
Yeah, besides that part, which I know it's a shock they didn't sign Juan Soto.
Let me tell you, they were right there up until the end.
Well, we were saying we were eating dinner with John Morosi.
Oh, nice.
And just hanging out over there. And then it's like, oh, look what happened. We're like, oh, great. We're walking back. And then John, imagine we see these polls here, John just walking, trying to text, tweet out all the deals. And he looks down. There's a poll right in front of him. You're familiar with the movie Happy Gilmore?
Yeah, I am. Oh, I love that movie.
So Happy's about to get run over by the jackass guy.
Yes.
Jackass. And forget her name, yells out, Happy, look out. And then he gets drilled. That's how I felt. I yelled, John, look out. And then he moved.
Nice.
So it was good.
Wow. Good work.
Good. Oh, goodness. Saved his life.
Yeah.
Saved his life.
I mean, you're buried in your phone. That's the whole big news that we were here for. You got that out of the way. Now the rest of the offseason can actually commence.
Yeah, and I think that we're going to see a lot. Dan O'Dowd was saying, Paul, he thinks Nathan Eovaldi can be a very good fit for Baltimore.
Yeah.
I think that rumbling starting to gain some traction.
Mm-hmm. Makes a lot of sense.
Santander to the Yankees, Blue Jays, or Red Sox is also gaining traction.
Yeah.
Makes sense there.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm trying to really figure out what's going to happen. The other one, we were just talking about, Teoscar's been quiet here.
It has. I think a couple days ago we saw there were talks that he was thinking about going back to the Dodgers.
Mm-hmm.
And then there were talks that they were far apart. They still had a ways to go. There was a gap in terms of the contract.
Mm-hmm.
He would make sense for a lot of teams. I mean, I think the Phillies might be a team that would be interested in signing Teoscar. At pretty much anybody that missed out on Soto. So Yankees, if they don't get Santander, maybe they get Teoscar. He made a lot of sense in Baltimore for a lot of reasons. He hits a lot of homers. He gets on base. He does a lot of little things right, and he's got a winning pedigree. So I think he's going to get paid, and I think the Eovaldi to the Orioles one is an interesting idea. I'm ready to see them shell out a multi-year contract for a pitcher. It hasn't happened yet. Obviously, Tyler O'Neill was the first one that Elias has ever handed out, but a pitcher for 2 or 3 years, that's how you got to, play in the big boy pool when it comes to free agents. You have to be willing to hand out multi-year contracts. And if Elias is willing to do it, it's a good offseason to do it in.
For sure. And when you're looking at value, and Zach, we talked about it all the time about it, and our whole group. It just makes sense for what your roster construction is at this current moment in time. Now there's going to be teams that are going to be bidding for the higher end guys, like the Corbin Burns, the Max Frieds, the whatever else I'm missing on.
I mean, there's you got a couple former Cy Young winners, obviously, who are past their prime in Verlander and Scherzer. You know, do teams still believe that they can still hit their heights that they have in previous years?
Well, and like in Scherzer, Scherzer's still under contract with the Rangers, or
No, he's a free agent.
He opted out.
Yeah.
So there's the example right there of like, okay, well, where's he at? He's been injured. You're right. That's the exact part of it. Injuries. Verlander.
Yeah.
Injuries. What do you do? Be honest, I don't know what the hell they're going to do here, but what I do know is some of these other teams and markets are going to be willing to spend that money.
Yep.
And that's where the other conversation.
Yeah.
I've just been hearing that the Orioles are willing to spend money. It just depends. Are those guys going to come to Baltimore? I think that's what they're fighting. I'm seeing people talk about, why doesn't Seattle talk to Tony Taters more? I'm like, well, if Tony's going to get the bag on the East Coast, why would he not want to stay on the East Coast?
Definitely.
Right.
Yeah.
So
if you can go to a premier franchise like the Yankees, you're going to do that. I mean, you have to overpay for free agents. It's just the name of the game.
Yep.
You know, you're never going to get. It's rare is the case where you actually get a bargain in free agency. You know, like Max Scherzer signing with the Nationals for whatever he signed for is like the only example I can think of. Usually you just have to overpay because you end up in a bidding war. I mean, is Juan Soto worth 720 to 765 million? I don't know if anybody is, but teams end up in a bidding war and it gets to a certain point. One name I do want to throw out there that I've been thinking a lot about.
Throw it out there, Paul.
Ryan Yarbrough.
Ooh.
And he's not a starter anymore. People might remember his starting days with Tampa Bay. But
yeah, I do.
He's bounced around the last couple of years. Soft tossing lefty. So, you know, the chances are that guy, when he gets hit hard. But he's been inducing a lot of weak contact, eating up a lot of innings, almost had 100 innings pitched last year. So maybe he's not going to obviously make too many headlines if the Orioles sign him. But maybe he fills something for the Orioles that like Cole Irvin filled last year, but to a better degree. You know, maybe he had an ERA right around 3. Maybe he is use an opener someday. You use him pitching innings 2 through 6. I think Ryan Yarbrough is somebody that we should probably keep an eye on here.
I think that when you're looking at options and not breaking the bank, and that, and also, by the way, here, let's go to another move for a second. And Kansas City, we reached out to the Kansas City PR, and they said they're going to try to make things happen. It's a little bit hard for scheduling, but we're working on it. We're here the rest of the day today, here tomorrow. Kansas City is a very similar model to Baltimore, not a big market, but they spent more last free agency.
Yeah.
But it wasn't the big bucks and that guy that made the difference when the Royals signed Seth Lugo last year.
Yeah.
No one went, holy shirts and pants, man, this is it.
Right.
But the value of the contract, it was a good amount of money.
Yep.
And he turned out being an all-star and a huge, valuable part of that Kansas City Royals team. So people got to look at it this way. The money isn't necessarily going to dictate that you're going to have success. And sometimes it's finding that right piece.
Yeah.
And so that's why you're bringing it up, especially for relievers, by the way. Relievers, it's really hit or miss. Look at the Orioles' past relievers. Look at everyone's last relievers.
Yeah.
There's no guarantee that you're going to have that same success over and over again.
And that's the one thing. I mean, Mike Elias obviously has done a phenomenal job in Baltimore. He's one of, if not the best drafting GM in all of baseball, and he's made smart moves around the margins. The one area he has yet to hit on in Baltimore is signing a reliever that has worked out. The only 2 relievers he's really signed to major league contracts, Michael Givens and Craig Kimbrell. And we know how both of those turned out. Givens barely pitched for the Orioles in his second stint after he had traded him to Colorado a year and a half before. And obviously Craig Kimbrell flamed out near the end of the 2024 season. So that's, and again, he didn't spend a whole lot of money on those guys. I think Givens was $5 million and Kimbrell was $13 million. So if he's willing to up the ante, you're going to get what you pay for. But that's one area where it's incredible. Like you said, Ryan, it's incredibly hard to predict, but Mike Elias has to do a little bit better if he's going to sign somebody in free agency.
Yep. And do they want to sign that type of reliever?
Yeah.
In free agency. Like Aroldis Chapman, I've bet a lot of fans. He's with Boston, by the way. People saw that in the chats. He's in Boston. But I tell you what, that would stress a lot of people out because it's the inconsistency.
Yeah.
For the Orioles, it's almost better when you get a guy that you don't expect much from, and then you see what happens. And Craig Kimbrell, last year, there was an expectation for the money he would reach a certain point.
Right.
And to be honest, he pitched like an all-star the first half of the season.
He did.
And then everything got lost. I talked to Jonathan Papelbon about this, Paul, a couple months, or yes, saying a couple months ago. It's now 4 months ago, whenever the hell baseball was. And he was saying once you have an injury and you're trying to deal through it, and then it takes so much of a mental toll.
Yeah.
So the injury, I think, was catching up injuries with Craig, and then mentally it just got to him.
Yep.
And he lost it. And once you're at that age, it's so hard to play the catch up. So
Closers are built different too.
you know who the Orioles need back?
Who's
Paul, do you know that? Kevin knows. Zach, you guys know?
Fuji.
I know. Thiago Vieira.
Shintaro Fujinami.
There
What did
we
you say,
go.
Kevin?
Thiago Vieira.
Oh, Kevin said Vieira. Let's bring him back.
Yeah. Thiago Vieira,
Yeah.
who pitched. Did he even record an out in Baltimore?
No, he's got an infinity ERA.
Legendary stat line.
He will live in, you could say, in infamy. He can live in infinity ERA for the Baltimore Orioles. But yeah, Shintaro Fujinami, man, bring him back.
Get him back. Hard
Miss
strong.
that guy's energy. I think I heard a story one time. I think it's okay to tell this now. I think I heard a story. He was going through Fells on a scooter and just ate shit and smacked his face.
Oh, that explains
It's like-
everything.
Yeah, right before. But then he got up and he was fine, celebrating. No one enjoyed the Orioles clinching the division more than Shintaro
loved it.
Fujinami.
He and his interpreter.
Yeah, it would be amazing.
Bring
here.
Fuji back.
Bring Fuji back. I think everyone in the chat, let us know where you want to see Shintaro Fujinami in the future here. Trying to think what else. Anything with the Braves from Caleb? Nothing yet. You haven't heard anything yet, Paul?
No.
You haven't infiltrated the Braves yet?
I haven't. I think Brian Snicker was just talking over there, but I didn't peek my head in. I just saw him speaking, so he would be the guy to ask.
Have you
but I
gone
have
in
no
to
idea.
hear anybody speak yet so far?
Not yet. Michael Elias is talking in a little bit, so hopefully
Okay.
hoping to hear from him and get some insight there. I
Yeah.
know Brandon Hyde's going to talk over the coming days. Hyde was on MLB Network, I believe, earlier today.
Yeah.
So we're hoping to get. I think they're hoping to get these deals finalized soon.
Yeah.
They've already, has been reported in O'Neill and Sanchez, but still waiting to hear from these guys. I'm excited to hear what Elias has to say about his reasoning for bringing both these guys in and what could be on the horizon.
Well, if you hear from him, who am I looking at? What am I doing? Oh, Ryan's back. Yeah, I just like to yell at Ryan. I've yelled at Ryan Klimek a few times already
That's
today.
fair.
And Brian Snitker apparently is on MLB Now.
All right.
There it is. Whammy. Anything on Burns? What we know is that a team's going to pay him a lot of money. It's not going to be in Baltimore.
Pretty much.
So I think that is exactly what we're looking for. And for Elias, for pitchers, it's interesting. 5 to 6 years for a pitcher. Paul, it's a hard thing to ask for. And pitchers want the stability, but it's so volatile.
It is. And that's exactly why Elias hasn't drafted pitchers with top picks.
Yep.
He likes the safety of bats. That's something you can count on year after year. That's why he signed O'Neill to a 3-year deal that if he opts in, he's going to be here for 3 years. So pitchers are just, and let's be honest, Tommy John surgeries are at an all-time high. So guys just miss time with injuries. And if some little thing is off, their whole production could fall off. So it would be a risk, but at the same time, at some point you have to pony up some money if you want to get an ace starting pitcher.
Pony it up.
Yeah.
Pony it up, baby. And people were wondering about the Yes Network. Yeah, they are getting ready. They're broadcasting. They are live.
Yeah. I can't imagine the mood
Paul,
is
we
too
need some
high there.
recon. What are they doing over there? You not only are you doing recon for Baltimore Banner, inside information for the Ryan Ripken show.
Yeah.
Can you imagine if you became the Yankees insider over there?
Ooh,
Know your foe.
This has to be an all-time low for them over there. I don't see many smiles on their faces. I know all of Yankee-dom has been in a state of depression the last 24 hours. So I would rather be on this table than on the Yes Network table right now.
Yeah, but the thing is, what we saw is that the Yankees are willing to spend the money again.
True.
Everyone's going, they're not going to spend it for Soto. Well, they did.
Well, they have the money to play with now. They have that $700 million that if they're willing to spend it on Soto, maybe they just dole it out, $200 million here, $300 million there.
Yep.
And I mean, they'll bounce back. We know that they're going to spend the money. They'll be fine.
They're going to spend the money.
Yeah. I got to run, boys.
Yeah,
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, sorry.
Appreciate it. No, thanks for having me.
Paul,
Yeah.
Get the hell out of here. All right. Good seeing you.
I'll see you. I'll probably stop in tomorrow and
we'll be here. You guys come by and whatever. Go do your
maybe
thing.
We'll talk about Santander or Burns.
Yeah, we'll talk about food, barbecue.
Oh, heck yeah.
Dallas.
Let's do it.
All right, Paul. See ya.
Thanks, Paul.
See ya, Paul. Paul's on out of here. He's a good kid.
Great guy.
Good kid, man.
All right. I also have to jump. I got Bleacher Report in 5 minutes. If you guys are still going, I'll pop back on, but not sure what your plan is.
Boo.
Wow. Hey. All right. I'll be if you're still on, I'll hop back on.
Brother, this guy stinks.
Wow.
Just kidding, Kev. Yeah, we'll probably be doing something here.
Okay. All right. I'll keep track on it and I'll just pop back in if you guys are still going.
All right. Yep. See you, buddy.
Peace out.
See ya. Also, hearing AJ Minter. Also, that dude's good. I saw Minter back in, 21. I like to say, good player, good people, good food. New to the channel, hit that like and subscribe on Ron Ripken Show. We're live from the winter meetings here. Brad, why don't you take this mic back so we can talk? You could tell some people some things while I move back over. Thank you.
Yeah. Well, actually, I was going to see if we know anybody who knows somebody who has a USB-C to USB-C cable.
Are we down? Are we down a cable again?
No, we're just we're below a charger, and our internet battery level.
I thought you went and got another charger.
There wasn't one available for my phone.
What kind of phone do you have?
They only had shit available for iPhones.
You want to use my crappy charger again?
I don't think it actually works.
Great. That's fantastic.
I was losing battery life last night as it was plugged in.
Well, how much time do we have left on there? Should we have to charge
we're at 49%. So how long have we been live? 2 hours. We probably got another 2 hours.
Oh, sugar. And then we're going to charge that puppy up and then go live again for the rest of the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we're having fun. We are having fun.
We are.
Shoot. Sorry, handling an email real quickly.
Spirit
Zach,
Bomb says the DFA. Yeah, you can DFA me. I was the one that actually forgot 2 cables that we needed that now we have like jerry rigged a lot of stuff together to make this broadcast work. But hey, we made it work. But yeah, it was definitely my bad.
It wouldn't be a Ryan Ripken Show if we didn't have, my computer. I had to find a new charger, then had to just use a different computer. Yeah.
That's very true.
Yeah, it is. This is exactly how it would go.
Meanwhile, this guy's just tucking his shirt in, right? Yep, just keep tucking.
What are we doing? We're tucking?
This guy's just like
a lot of people watching, man.
Staring right. There is a lot of that too.
Trying to figure out a couple things here as I'm doing this. And I'm debating if I get up to use the bathroom and also make a quick run to see if I can see somebody.
Okay.
Yes. Ooh, mama, we appreciate it. Sorry, so people are tuning in the winter meetings. It's long. We got a lot of things going on, and we're figuring out when people are going to pop up. We're hearing things might happen in the next, I don't know, hour, maybe less, maybe more.
Really? We are hearing that?
Well, like for us, we might.
Oh,
I know that Paul is going to go to hear Mike Elias talk. I would like to go hear Mike Elias talk, but I like Mike Elias to just come talk to us.
That's what I was going to say. Yeah.
Yeah.
Why do we need to be in there with the rest of the media when we can just have him come here?
It's a lot of talking. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's a good kid.
A lot of listening to dumbass questions that people ask when we ask the right one.
Yeah. Zach, what are you seeing on the internet right now? What's on Zach's history?
Right now, I'm kind of just seeing what any sort of rumors I see in the chat. We're still talking a lot of looks like Rizzo's going to Pittsburgh, but besides that,
Is that confirmed?
Not confirmed yet. It's seeing each time I look, it seems to be more and more a thing. So it seems like that's probably going to happen. Besides that,
did Pittsburgh just need a body at first base?
So so they got to figure out, do you want a veteran over there that, could split time and blah, 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 blah? Or are you looking for a guy that youth upside wants to make things happen? Shout out Gavin Sheets. Just kidding. But Gavin,
hot take.
I don't think Gavin's going there. If not, I'll text him about it. He's a free agent right now, Baltimore guy. But Anthony Rizzo, going to his numbers and stats and all these things, right? Anthony last year, 92 games, hit 228. Year before, hit 244. The numbers are declining, obviously. So it's what's the value of it? Is it bringing a guy in that knows how to be around winning and understands teams? And Pittsburgh definitely needs to kind of grow up a little bit.
Yep.
Not in the growing up that they're immature, but meaning take that next step. The Orioles brought in Adam Frazier and Kyle Gibson when they made a thing. So it makes sense for Rizzo to go to a team like Pittsburgh, up and coming, bring his presence, and maybe he's able to put some things together, right? Like, that's just the reality. What are you smirking about over there, Zach?
Well, I'm currently smirking because Tyler in the chat's talking about exactly what we've been talking about with thoughts on trading for a top rotation arm rather than signing one. Because Paul talked about it a little bit. I think Evaldi's the guy that we've kind of circled as, hey, if there's a guy that you feel like the bang for your buck out there, that you're going to get the most from him for maybe not that tier one money, he's a guy. Yeah. But I think that if they want to go get a top of the line starter, they're going to call the White Sox. They're going to call the Mariners. They're going to be shopping there instead of looking kind of at this free agent market. I think that's I think that is where we would see something happen. With the names out there, Fried, Burns, I find it very hard.
The Mariners are apparently listening to offers about Luis Castillo. So, hey.
Yeah. Talk about a guy that, if they got Luis Castillo, I love him ever since he was in Cincinnati. If they could get him, chills.
Yeah, I think that the Mariners connection is one that consistently continues to happen, right? And it makes sense for so many reasons. Having said that, though, what's the value? What do the Mariners really want? Do they want an outfield bat? Do they want – well, yes, they want bats. But, what bats do they want?
I don't know. They just need some sort of offense because they have zero.
Well, they do have Randy Arozarena out there. They do have Julio Rodriguez. Like, they have guys that they should be a better offensive team. They should be. But they're not. But the Mariners, man, George Kirby, Luis Castillo, Bryce Miller, Brian Wu, he's great.
Yeah, I need Brian Wu on this team solely for the Woo. And what's crazy is,
can you imagine people around the yard every time and now pitching Brian Woo? And apparently, speaking of Woo, Ric Flair was in Westminster.
He was in Westminster. Ric Flair was in Westminster with Bordy.
Yeah,
doing some sort of event.
Maybe I should call Bordy about that. See what's going on. And see what's happening. Yeah, all good. I think that's Nelson Cruz.
I was gonna say that's Nelson Cruz.
Yeah,
walking right.
Nelson Cruz walking. Honestly, at this point, hell, ask him. He might still be able to hit.
Yeah.
I got to actually, but let me. I'm gonna use the.
You don't know? Do you know him? You don't know.
I don't know him. If I did, I would have yelled.
Yeah,
I really would have.
Yeah.
But maybe I'll yell at him later.
He's not taller than I thought.
We do have another guest that we just got
coming down the pipe.
Well, I don't know when it is. So one, I got to go to the bathroom and send the email back so I can accomplish two things at one, because I think we're going to be on for a while. So let me use the restroom.
Commandeer a USB-C to USB
in the bathroom.
Yeah. Actually, no. You come back and I'll try to see if I can. or maybe text somebody.
Text somebody to help somebody.
Yeah.
I mean, where's our or the where's that one that was terrible that I had?
Yeah, it's in your book bag or something.
Okay.
But I don't. That doesn't really work.
What's your battery at right now?
We are at 46%.
Okay. Yeah, we need to try to work
But
on.
I've had it at 100% when we started going live.
Yeah.
So essentially got like maybe 90 minutes ish left.
Yeah, and we're definitely gonna need one more, or we're gonna take some time to pause.
Yeah.
If we do that.
Do we pause now, get that, and then because then what time is in like an hour? We have some guests lined up.
Yeah.
I don't. Yeah.
Do we take an hour break we got to eat and all that?
Yeah, maybe we do. We might come back because we might have. Well, so one of them, our next guest, Zach, or not our next guest, but one of our guests that's going to be coming up here is involved with the Phillies.
Okay.
Actually, I just got confirmation here, and I have to email him back. Hey, Ryan, get you the new general manager of the Philadelphia Phillies, Preston Mattingly, is going to join us to talk about the Phillies. He's a young GM.
Yeah.
And if you heard the near Mattingly, that's Don Mattingly's son, who is now elevated 37 years
37. He's only 37 years old.
old. And also he's a baseball player and professionally. They went back to play basketball. Talk about athlete.
Yeah.
But also understand how to construct the team and what's going on and how do you navigate. I think people want to hear the insight about what's happening here on at the winter meetings and what you got to do. And maybe saying, talk about the trades with the Orioles last year. A lot of things we can talk about. So, yes. Okay, so why don't we take a break? Should we take a break? But we have a lot of people tuning in. This is amazing. So for you all are tuning in, hit that like and subscribe button. Ryan Ripken Show.
And that notification bell to get notified when we go live.
Yeah, you better hit that notification button. We will send out to our subscribers, like we'll put a community post. We're coming back live because also, Zach, we're trying to set up a time with Stephen Vogt. So that the Cleveland Guardians manager, Stephen Vogt, we're trying to set him up. We're going to touch back in with
Terry Francona. Maybe?
Terry Francona. Yep. Going to touch back in with Terry Francona. And it might, honestly, we say an hour. If they text us in 30 minutes that we're doing something, we're going to hop back on this.
Yeah,
if I get a
text, that'd be
yeah, if I text Terry Francona is coming on in 30 minutes, then we're coming back on in 30 minutes.
Yes. Correct.
We need that guy.
Yeah.
When I move, you move.
Just like that.
All right, boys, hit that like and subscribe button. We will be live again soon, very soon. But in the meantime, going to get Brad's phone recharged. We're going to recharge and make sure we're ready to rock and roll because the thing is, it just heats up as the night goes on here.
Yeah.
It's not a, hey, we're done here at 4 or 5. No. And we're an hour behind you guys here. It is only 4 p.m. here.
And shit happens way into the night here.
Yeah, like the bar was buzzing at 2 a.m. Not because we were here 2 a.m. We were here late, though.
It was still open at 3, from what I heard.
It's going to be a time. But, hey, we appreciate you guys. We're going to have a lot more to talk about here. Moves, players, situations as they come about you. You're going to hear it straight here first, live from the winter meetings, the Ryan Ripken Show. We will see you guys momentarily. Boom. Chaz Michaels is